Hey guys, it's Chris. From what to do to what not to do, to how to play the odds and ensure you live, join me as I reveal what to do in a zombie apocalypse. Number 8. Just run. I'm sure on some level this may seem rather counterintuitive, because the last thing you want to do in a zombie apocalypse is run for your life and then unintentionally run into a horde of zombies that'll, kill you. However, this honestly is the most basic piece of advice. Regardless of how the zombie apocalypse starts, via random infection or the dead literally coming back to life randomly, you need to get out of where you are and get to somewhere safe. Especially if you wake up like Rick Grimes did and start your journey in an area that is strewn with dead bodies and have no earthly idea what's going on. Now, you should keep presence of mind enough to know that you need to take some things with you, mainly a weapon, which I'll get into more detail about in a bit, but you want a weapon to fight off potential zombies. And no matter what, no matter where you are, you need to get somewhere that zombies won't be able to reach you from all angles. So take a breath, analyze your surroundings. Think about what you have to do to get out of where you are and run. Or don't. Take your sweet time and likely get eaten, your choice. Number 7. Get supplies for the short term. This particular step often gets lost in the fervor of being in a zombie apocalypse, as most people think, well, I have to be ready for the long haul. While that is true to an extent, you won't survive the long haul if you don't make it through the short haul. Days can seem like months when it comes to the zombie apocalypse. So when you're dealing with the outbreak that ruins the world, you need to make sure you can survive at least the next few days or the next week before you start thinking about months and years down the road, especially if you don't know where you're gonna be in the next week or so. So what do you pack exactly? First, if you're in a place like your home during the start of the zombie apocalypse, get yourself some changes of clothes and put them in a light bag. Not your full-on suitcase, that'll only weigh you down. Put stuff in a duffel bag and sling it over your shoulder. Clean clothes may not seem like much, but they can be a creature comfort to keep you calm as you get ready to embrace the new world you live in. As for food, you can't take anything that requires a cooling unit or a freezing unit, as electricity will either be down, go down, or be taken out. Take foods that'll last a week or longer, like breads, certain fruits and vegetables, certain kinds of snacks, and definitely bottled water. Do this and you'll have enough to get through the next few days should you be on the run for the next few days or weeks. Many people won't survive that long, so make sure you're in the minority that do. Number 6. Melee versus firearms. Without a doubt, one of the biggest questions in a zombie apocalypse is, what weapons do I use to kill zombies? Most TV shows and movies will have you believe that guns are the end-all and be-all of the weapon killer category. And in a way, they're right. Firearms are more long-distance, can be used a little more accurately, and have the stopping power to blow the brains out of a zombie. However, just as those same TV shows and movies have proven time and time again, from The Walking Dead to iZombie, bullets run out. In a zombie apocalypse scenario, the ability to buy or receive ammunition is full of unknowns and variables that can put you at risk. And the common person won't be able to carry enough for a long firefight against a horde of zombies or other threats. Sure, if you're able to carry a firearm and some bullets, you should probably do so, but only use them as a last resort. But in terms of your day-to-day weapons that you should use, well, that would be various kinds of melee weapons. Swords, axes, hatchets, hammers, sledgehammers, anything of that kind of power will do. As Mythbusters have proven in their 2 zombie specials, they do require a certain amount of force to pierce a zombie skull, but they don't need to be reloaded, and only minimal care is needed to keep them sharp and functional. And as for things like hammers, don't need them to be sharp. Oh, and make sure you carry as many weapons as you can, because you're likely to break them or lose them as time goes on. And just another word of reminder, and I mean for me personally, I'm definitely getting a sword, because as a good friend of mine so wisely once said, Chris, you just don't have to reload a sword. Number 5. Location, location, location. One thing that The Walking Dead should be proud of in terms of their zombie storyline is that they emphasize that the location you're in during the zombie apocalypse and throughout it will be key to your survival. While not all their places were the best, they do highlight some of the key things that you should take note of. For example, a farm location isn't too bad a spot to roost in, especially if this farm is in the middle of a large field area. So why is that important? Well, line of sight. In a city, there are buildings and other structures that can limit line of sight, thus ensuring that zombies or other threats can get to you without you noticing. But in a farm setting, you have line of sight in basically all directions for some distance. So even if the zombie horde found you and tried to swarm you, as long as you have a person on guard duty, you'll be able to see them early enough to maybe make a plan to get out. You almost never want to be in a city during the zombie apocalypse, barring very rare and safe circumstances, such as the whole city being protected by a gate or something of the like, which The Walking Dead also showed, and then had broken by zombies. The more isolated a place, the more unlikely zombies will come. If you can find an isolated island that no one lived on before the outbreak, well, that's basically an oasis. But if you can't find that, find a place away from people, living or dead. Number 4, trust, but verify. As sad as this may sound, humanity is not one to be trusted when the world is falling apart, because often our basic instincts take over, and we decide that it's every man or woman for themselves. During the initial outbreak for the zombie apocalypse, that's exactly what's gonna happen, and you can't fully fault them for that given the panic and confusion that'll be going on. However, once the initial terror settles down, the humanity that's left will be thinking very different thoughts. Not every man for himself, but rather survival of the fittest. Groups of survivors will no doubt form, and while some can be trusted, others will think it's their right to have certain things in certain people, and that you should be paying for their help and on and on. So if you do meet a group of humans, you can potentially trust them, but you also need to be sure that they are who they say they are. Make them do certain acts like lowering weapons or coming into your household with nothing but their clothes on. And keep an eye on them for a night or two, because they might be a lure to see who bites and then take all your stuff. It's a grim thought, yes, but tell me, do you really fight to survive the zombie apocalypse just to get taken out by humans? I don't think so. Number 3, vehicles are a double-edged sword. Another thing that TV shows and zombie movies have shown is that vehicles are a double-edged sword in terms of usefulness. On one hand, they can carry people and supplies and get you a long way, but in a zombie apocalypse, getting gas could be very hard, and getting parts for cars that need fixing can be just as hard. So thus, you need to be careful of what you do with your vehicles. For example, if you're in a place during the beginning of the zombie apocalypse and you have your vehicle on hand and it has a full tank of gas, by all means use it. Get your family, supplies, and get the heck out of Dodge if you can. And if sometime after the beginning you stumble upon a vehicle that you can use and it has a bunch of gas, well then use that too. The catch is that by this time, more and more people are going to be looking for vehicles to use, so this will be a rare find that you have. So use the gas wisely, such as for escape measures, or using it as a battering ram against a horde of zombies trying to kill you. They can be useful, but just like firearms, they'll have limits and ammunition that can't be easily reloaded. Number 2, be vigilant. Whether it's on Outbreak Day or Season 11 of The Walking Dead, the most consistent thing that you need to be in a zombie apocalypse is vigilant. You need to be vigilant of your surroundings, of who's approaching, or what your status is in terms of your supplies and your base of operations. Zombies do not tire, they do not sleep, and humans can pop up out of nowhere too. So the last thing you need to be is caught unawares because you thought everything was all right. If you're by yourself, you need to set up an alarm system in various areas of your base or house and make sure that when they're tripped, you can hear them or see them be activated. If you're in a group, do guard patrol, circle your base, and ensure that no one is trying to sneak in from an unobvious point of view. In terms of your supplies, you need to be very mindful of what you have and what you don't have, as eventually you will need to go out and get more supplies. Don't be caught unawares and you'll live longer. Well, hopefully. Number 1, don't lose your mind. If you think about zombie movies and TV shows, one thing that is often not discussed because of the zombies' killing action is the idea of depression during the zombie apocalypse. Sure, you've all seen crazy people and such during The Walking Dead and other shows, but I'm talking serious mental depression. You're in a world now that is literally enveloped by death, where the next day is not a guarantee, where your loved ones could be turned in the blink of an eye if they're unlucky. That's a lot to weigh on a person's mind. And because of that, keeping your mental health is very important. You need to remember that above all else, you're alive, and you can take steps to keep it that way. And you can protect your family so they don't become zombies too. There is a lot to be scared of, sure, But that doesn't mean that you need to succumb to the darkness that's all around you. Keep your head up. You can make a life in this new world. It won't be easy or probably very fun, but you can do it, so do it. Thanks for watching. What did you think of our guide to living in the zombie apocalypse? Would you agree that our tips are sound? Do you have your own rules that you would like to share? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to World List, and I'll see you next time.